Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Planetarium show. My name is Jessica. I'm the director of the Planetarium, and with me tonight, becoming a very familiar face in streams, is one of our students who I will let say hi and introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Allie. I am a biochemistry major at UMD and I am also a planetarium staff member.
So, tonight is our monthly installment of Ask an Astronomer, where we are here to answer your questions. Um, I know we don't have any questions right away, so we have a couple of fun things to talk about while we wait for some questions to come through. Allie, do you want to start off?
Yeah, so I found this news article a couple weeks ago, and after some research, I actually found details about it on the Kennedy Space Center website. So NASA plans to launch the Artemis 1 mission end of August. It's planned for August 29th, and on the website it says no sooner than that. So hopefully there won't be any delays, but their plan is August 29th, 2022 at 8:33 a.m. They will launch the Space Launch System SLS rocket for Artemis 1. This is a not crewed mission. I know that the Artemis missions will eventually have crewed missions, and that will be Artemis 3. And that will be within the next few years. I believe right now it's estimated around 2025. And this whole mission is very exciting because we are going back to the moon, which hasn't happened for a very long time. And this mission is also super cool because with Artemis, it's almost like a stepping stone to Mars. So the Artemis 1 mission is 3 weeks long, and the spacecraft will travel thousands of miles between the moon, or I'm sorry, beyond the moon. So Orion is the first human-grade deep space capsule, and it will remain in space longer than any ship has before without docking to a space station. And it will also return to Earth hotter and faster than any other spacecraft to date. And if you would like to learn more about this mission, or even if you would like to see the launch, you can find more details at the Kennedy Space Center website.
And I put the
And it's a
link.
very
I put the link in the comments.
I would definitely take a look at this and check it out because I'm super excited for it. And I know that many people are, and I hope that this receives the same amount of excitement that the Apollo missions did because it's a pretty big deal and it's going to be amazing, the science that this is producing. And I don't know, I'm crossing my fingers that this is paving the way for more civilian space travel as well because I don't know, I'd like to go to the moon someday.
I can't decide if I want, I'm terrified at the thought of flying in a rocket, but at the same time, if someone was like, you can go to space and go to the moon, I don't know that I could turn that down,
Yeah,
right?
I don't think I could either. I think that I think that immediately I would say yes. Like, there'd be no hesitation. And then, the days leading up to it, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this. And then I think it would just be so cool. Like, how could you pass that up? Like, going to the moon would be so fun.
And I know that this mission, Ali mentioned, it's going to be kind of a stepping stone to Mars. One of the ideas is they're actually going to put a space station around the moon to serve as kind of a docking point, so that astronauts can stay there before going to the moon's surface and then coming back up. And then that station is also going to be hopefully the launching point from going to Mars as well. So it's definitely not just the Apollo missions done again. There are some big changes and improvements to the whole setup and how we're doing it, and of course setting up for going beyond, which is very
And
exciting.
not only that, but it's very exciting for um, the crew of this mission. It's very awesome. We are finally seeing a lot of diversity, and I
Yes.
am so excited because we will have the first woman on the moon and the first person of color on the moon. So it's very exciting for humanity, and I'm just so excited to see all of the beautiful science and discoveries that come of this.
Yeah, I can't wait. And I know I since they just released, I know they said, what was it, August 29th, and then they have two backup dates as well if weather isn't cooperating. I just go ahead and tease this on the stream. Trying to look into doing a launch party viewing in the planetarium. There are lots of things to figure out since we will be back uh, in the semester by that point, with classes and teaching and all of that. But I think this is a huge milestone that obviously we need to celebrate at the planetarium. So as I get those details worked out, they will be announced on our social media so that you can hopefully come celebrate with us our relaunch to the moon. All right. Let me check here. Not seeing. Oh, Nova, get off my keyboard. Thank you. Not seeing any questions coming through yet. So I guess the only other thing that I had prepped to talk about was just a little update on James Webb, our little awesome, fantastic telescope. I know that a lot of raw data, basically images that haven't been like color added to them or touched up or anything, a lot of that's been released. People are starting to go through it, finding some really cool things. I know as they study the deep field image more and more, we're finding more and more distant galaxies. I think the latest one I saw, the most distant galaxy found yet, was one that was 233 million years after the Big Bang.
That's
which is
crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane what they're finding, and that's just after a little while. I mean, it's just getting started. And like this, yes, it's crazy to find a galaxy so young. But part of this is also helping us just understand how our universe came to look the way it does today. Like we have lots of different models of how galaxies could form, but the sooner we can see that they formed, how early they formed, and how big they were when they formed, that helps us to really understand that process and how it all happened. It's going to help us figure out how those monster black holes at the center of galaxies formed. And all of that leads to, of course, just better understanding how we, as our solar system and planet Earth and humanity, came to be today, and the odds of that happening again somewhere else. And it's very exciting. Very exciting.
That's like, those are crazy like those are like the biggest questions like in astronomy, like just trying to wrap your mind around that. And the fact that this telescope is like getting us closer to an actual answer is like mind-boggling. I mean, it's like, it seems like it's science fiction.
It
Like it's
really
just so hard.
does.
It's just so hard to like fathom some of this stuff. And like you said, 230 million years from the Big Bang.
Yeah, I think it was 233.
That's crazy. Like
Yeah,
that is like relatively, like compared to like where we are in like space time right now, like that's
that
insane.
was that was like right after, and it's just yeah.
So exciting.
I cannot wait. And like in my head, I'm like, I'm going to have to redo all of my lectures because so
And
much
that's
is going to
great.
change. Yes. I mean, that's one of
I
my
was just
favorite things with teaching astronomy is it does, honestly, every few semesters I'm having to make some changes because something new has happened. And I love that because it keeps things from getting kind of stale or boring on my part. I'm literally not teaching the exact same thing every semester because new things are happening all the time. So yeah,
I
it's
was
gonna be
just
great.
joking with a friend the other day about how physics and astronomy students are going to have to buy a bunch of new textbooks after the James Webb Space Telescope, because it's like what we know about astronomy and physics like is going to change.
Yeah, it absolutely is, which is crazy, but very exciting. And I think that's really cool, especially as maybe general public or people who aren't um, as into STEM fields. Like astronomy gives a really good view into the scientific process that you can see like actually play out in real time. With a lot of the other sciences, it's stuff that's been tested and established for a long time, and you just read about it. If you have a good teacher, they'll get into and explain why we accept it today and all of that. It's not always the case. But with astronomy, like you really get the real look at the scientific process, and I love that for general public just being able to see this is how we do it. So, oh, my little mini. That's not a rant. insight
No,
for the stream?
I think it is. Yeah, good insight. Especially because like I think for a lot of people it's like hard to fathom that you can like think that you have a good understanding of something for such a long time and then all of a sudden a new technology comes out and we learn something new and all of that can just be turned upside down. And like we even see that throughout history, like even for the longest time, like people thought that like Earth was at the center of the
Right.
universe. And then now looking back at that, like us looking back at that, we're like, oh, how could they even think that? But like that happens like now, like where we believe something for such a long time and then new technology
And
comes and we
it's
learn
not
something different.
just believing, it's the evidence that they had at the time supported this idea. And that's part of why we keep retesting things and keep looking and trying to build better and better technology so that we can continue to test our ideas and find out, is this actually valid, or are we just limited by the technology we have at the time? And so it's all part of trying to understand. And the better technology we have, the more we're able to test and the better understanding we get. And it's amazing.
Yeah, scientists are like forced to adapt to change. You have to change so much.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm not seeing any questions come up. So let's just kind of talk about what's going to happen at the Planetarium over the next week. Oops, didn't mean to show that one yet. There we go. So for our schedule this week, on Friday, we are doing Journey Through the Solar System, and Saturday is going to be the last time for now to see Two Small Pieces of Glass and Big Astronomy. They will come back eventually. They're in a rotation of shows we do for Saturdays, but starting in August, we will have a new set of shows for Saturday. So if you haven't got to see these yet and you don't want to wait a while till they come back, this weekend's your last chance. And then next Wednesday on our live stream, we will be in August somehow. And so we'll be doing our beginning of August What's Up edition. And then, of course, right after that, we have our Dark Sky Caravan happening August 8th through 13th. I think it's going to be a really super fun event this year. We're doing a virtual kickoff here on Facebook that Monday, and then the rest of the days of the week are star parties at various locations. You can see them here. They're also up on our website. We also have events for all of them on our Facebook page. But we're taking our telescopes and activities and all sorts of fun stuff to stops all along the North Shore, making our way up to Chickawauk, which is right on the edge of the Boundary Waters, which is the largest dark sky sanctuary in the world. Where we have level 1 dark skies, the darkest skies that you can get. And it is just stunning up there. And so we are slowly that week making our way up there, just kind of celebrating these dark skies and hopefully showing people why we want to keep them. Because it's definitely something rare to find, especially in the eastern half of the U.S. The western half does have quite a few dark sky places, but you have lots of deserts and stuff. Eastern half, this is very rare to find, and it's in our backyard, so of course we want to celebrate that. All right, well, I guess since we're not getting any questions, we've gone through the topics that we had prepped. Is there any last thing you want to say? All right. Well then, I think we will wrap it up a little early then. So thank you for joining us. We do this Ask an Astronomer every month, or at least try to every month. So if you weren't able to catch us live, if you're watching this later, you can always come check us out in the next month's edition and ask those questions. All right. Here we go. What are the plans to view the Perseids? So our dark sky caravan is actually during the Perseid meteor shower. We planned that specifically. So we will be watching for those as we have our star parties throughout the week as well. So yeah, that's when this week was picked, was specifically for the Perseids. I know the moon is going to be a little bit of an issue, which is both good and bad for star parties. Having the moon as a backup, easy target for telescopes is great. But when you're also trying to look for meteors, having the moon out is not ideal. So hopefully we'll still get some good ones. I know in the past years we've had some really bright meteors fly through during our dark skies. So yeah. Um, how would you answer the question, how are the Mari on the moon related to the dinosaur killer? I mean, so the Mari are the dark areas on the moon, what are known as the seas. And they're the results of giant impacts, just like the giant impacts that killed the dinosaurs. So they're all kind of related to the same type of incident. But yeah, I talk about that some in my class, actually. It's really cool.
I remember from one of my astronomy classes in high school, I talked about the crater from that impact.
Chicxulub.
Yeah, and that is amazing. Like, the pictures of that are really cool.
It's also really cool that, like, for a while, there were craters on Earth that, like, there was a huge dispute among geologists whether they were volcanic craters or impact craters. And the telltale that kind of determines that a lot of these were actually impact craters were a specific kind of quartz found at the bottom of the crater that's created under the extreme pressures and heat from specifically an impact and cannot be created from a volcanic event. So, like,
that is really cool.
Yeah, so finding those quartz were like definitive, yes, this has to be an impact, and that's one of the things that they did for the Chicxulub. You see those quartz there as well, and so we know that it's an impact crater.
That's really cool. I kind of want some of that quartz. I'm sure that's very expensive, but that is so cool.
Yeah, I want to. I have started a mini collection of like meteorites and stuff. So I have one from Meteor Crater that a friend brought me back in, I think, undergrad. And then my wonderful husband got me the Allende.
Oh, cool.
Which, for anyone who doesn't know about the Allende, this is a carbonaceous chondrite meteorite. Basically, it has some of the, there we go, very first materials to solidify in the solar system. So those little white specks, those are CAIs, calcium aluminum inclusions, I think. And those were some of the very first things to solidify.
That is really cool.
And it's mine, and I got to touch it. Which is all I ever wanted. Okay. I got to touch the oldest pieces in our solar system.
I know that some people want diamonds on their engagement rings, but I think that I'd like to be special and have some chunk of a meteorite on there.
Yes.
Because how cool is that? And then people ask you, and they're like, oh, that's an interesting engagement ring. And you're like, yeah, it's from a meteorite.
Right? Yeah, no. Completely agree. I think that's like one way we were going to go, but mine ended up being his great-grandmother's. So it's family, it's sentimental. I love it. But before that, yeah, I was definitely going the meteorite route. Like, I wanted that. But then he just got me.
Really cool.
Got me a chunk of my own. Because he's amazing. I don't think you can hear that I'm talking about him because he has his headphones on. But anyway. Alright, I think it would be cool to eventually.
If your other is into astronomy, like, that's a really good gift idea.
Yeah.
Like, awesome Christmas gift idea. And you're probably, like, being very supportive of, like, you know, the tourism and stuff where you would get this types of things.
Yeah. So. Although, be careful because there are lots of fake sellers out there. Mm-hmm. I know, Astro Bob, I'm pretty sure, has an article about some, like, reputable sellers. You could always just reach out to us as well, and we can help find some. But that's sadly something to look out for, though. Make sure it's from a reputable source.
Good Christmas gift idea, though.
Yes. I'm been for a while wanting to get a, like, meteorite mini exhibit for the planetarium. But it's expensive.
Yeah, I would guess that probably costs a lot of money.
We also have a unique where we don't have, I guess we do have some closed off locked spaces, but I also, like, I want people to have a chance to touch some too.
Hmm.
Like, there's something so cool about saying I touched something that was 4.5 billion years old.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, it's an idea that I've had playing around for a while. I haven't had enough time to figure out exactly how to do it. Although one of my good friends just opened up a meteorite exhibit at her planetarium, so I'm planning on picking her brain some. Uh,
Also, the geology department would be really in support of that too.
yeah, absolutely. And I know some people in the geology department have done meteorite exhibits at like our astronomy day. They've
Oh,
had like a
cool.
table on that. But even getting some, because we have things like anorthosite and basalt along the North Shore, which are the same types of rocks on the moon. So even if we don't specifically have moon rocks, being able to show, hey, this is exactly what you find there, this is what it looks like, and we have it here as well, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, that's also really cool. And the fact that it's like from the North Shore too. So,
Oh, I love the tardigrade microscopes on Astronomy Day. Me too. That was something that we had special plans for the Astronomy Day that never happened right when the pandemic started, and I'm beyond excited that we got to have them when we finally had an in-person Astronomy Day. And trust me, if I can have any say, there will be tardigrades at so many of our events in the future.
if you would like to know more about tardigrades in space, check out our Mars room at the planetarium because there is an awesome little exhibit in there that will give you a super cool rundown on tardigrades and how they have survived in space. So, they're really cool. I love tardigrades too.
And the exhibit made by our own Allie here, so like
Please
include
check it
that.
out. Please check
You
it
did
out. I worked really hard on
it.
it.
It's awesome.
Tardigrades are really cool. Like,
They are.
not many organisms can say that they've survived, like, not even
Right?
just like in a spaceship, but like in
The
the
back,
vacuum
yeah,
of space. Like, that's
crazy.
really, really cool.
Oh, all right. Um, let's see. You wanna wait? Let's wait like another minute, see if anything else comes through, since we did start to get a few questions and comments and stuff. It's good to see everyone in the comments. I know it's been nice outside, so people have been like catching the replays after. But it's nice to see some of our people here with us tonight. But I'm tired. I feel like I'm still somewhat recovering from summer camp last week. Uh,
You know, kids have like so much energy and they are so good at taking your energy. And maybe that is how they get theirs because I don't know. I don't know how they do it.
they're energy vampires.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What a great word to describe children.
It was a super fun week though. And yeah, but I'm definitely tired. So I'm
I don't
glad.
know how camp counselors at like outdoor camps, like the like
Yeah.
lakes and stuff. I don't know how they do that. Like that is a whole other type of
Hmm.
camp.
Yeah. But all right. Well, I think we can wrap it up there. I'm not seeing anything else come through. So, thank you for those of you who are here to join us. As I was saying before, you can catch this. We try and do this Ask an Astronomer monthly. So if you don't have questions now, just in the future, you can always stop by and ask. Um, and yeah, I think we will wrap it up there. So have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thanks for hanging out with us. And we hope to see you again in the future, either here or in person at the planetarium. So, all right. Bye, everyone.